What's up?
Hello. What's going on?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. Luke can hop on now and just comment in the comments, right? So
Okay.
once you and I are done, we're gonna hang up, and then Luke's gonna hop on.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go. We're gonna talk about the story, the journey, and then when it's time to do the shop, we'll hop off, and then we'll talk to Luke.
All right. Yeah, he'll do like a shop tour. He's at the shop right now. Oh, there he is.
What's
So
up,
I think
Luke?
yeah. So he can, yeah, so he'll chime in and then I'll jump off. We're both awkward alone, super awkward together in interviews, so it might be better that way.
So how you doing, man?
We're doing okay, you know? Like everyone right now, we're just trying to figure out how to run a business in a pandemic where you can't take deliveries to clients and, you know, half the clients are gone. So it's it's interesting times.
It is.
But we're fortunate though, you know. So we've been going for like 8 years. So we got
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. We're going to get there. All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to go through about 10, 11 questions, and then we're going to jump into the journey.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, and Luke can actually answer as well. So we can kind of get, this actually works out. All right?
Yep.
Do you have an overused phrase or word?
What's that?
Do you have an overused phrase or word?
An overused phrase or word. At work or just with clients?
These are life questions.
Oh man. I'm not too sure. Right now everyone's saying pivot, but I don't know. Pretty tired of that word because I'm not.
That's a very important word right now.
Yeah, I don't know where you pivot to though.
What is your least favorite thing to do? In general.
Oh, accounting. I mean, just money. Yeah, money stuff. That's the
the back office.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say changing diapers.
That now there's a lot of that happening, and Luke has two, so now he's got double time.
Wait, how old is his kid?
The first one is Georgia. She's, I want to say, between 2 and 3 now, and the second one she might be. I'm so bad with ages. He can chime in. Or he says sanding.
The least favorite thing to do is sanding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go.
So did you all plan to have kids together?
No, we didn't really sync it up. One happened and then the other happened, but it was pretty good. Pretty good timing.
All right. What is your most favorite thing to do?
Most favorite thing to do, like work-wise or just
in life, man. These are life questions.
Oh, in life, just being in the mountains swimming, not in the city.
Okay, that is your least or most?
Most, yeah.
Okay, what is your least favorite thing to do?
Oh, driving in downtown New York, trying to get into a high-rise building in like financial districts with like that needs a $5 million COI and proof of insurance and
there's nowhere to park.
Yeah, no parking.
You can't leave your truck, a van.
$135 tickets racking up.
Right. All right. Okay. Luke, I need you to answer and not wait. And Adam, the first is about your significant other, and the second one is about Luke. All right? So you ready?
Uh-huh.
What is the one thing you would change about your spouse or significant other and business partner?
Oh, that's a slippery slope.
It can be.
No, I'm pretty fortunate in both. Both my wife and business partner are stubborn, as am I. So, you know.
Okay.
That's a good thing to have. You need.
Look, you see that he chose a nice, clean, vague answer. What makes you tick?
Oh, just yeah, stuff going wrong. Just like, finishing, or when you're doing everything right, then you've done it 100 times, and on the 101st, it just changes. Like, yeah.
All right. What irks you the most?
Oh, right now, or just emails when people can pick up, 101 emails for something that you could do in a 30-second phone conversation.
Yeah. A lot of times people call me and they want to talk about stuff. I'm like, can you just send me an email?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the conversation would never, ever stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, can you just put it in an email? Give me the measurements. I'll send you a price. Well, hold on. I got one more question for you.
Well, you have a lot of hobbies. You have a lot of people coming in on the weekends to your space as well. So, that's when we had our original shop, we used to have the showroom in the front, and then we had the welding shop and the wood shop. And we're like, oh, people can come in and like we're doing the work. But then when people come in every, 30 minutes, it's really tough to get stuff done because you put that.
Let me close this door and turn around this sign.
Yeah. And I'm chatty. You're pretty, you're pretty chatty too. So, very easy to get behind on things when that's happening.
What sound makes you happiest?
What sound?
Yeah, what sound?
Oh, trying to think. Oh, like a client paying an invoice, like that when you get that like push notification on your phone on a Saturday, and it's been like months and you've been waiting. It comes through.
Yes, those are real life struggles.
Oh.
What sound bothers you the most?
Oh, the sound that bothers me the most. These are tough questions. I don't know if I have a really.
This is just everyday stuff that we never think about.
Right now, my child at 3 a.m. like screaming in the middle of the night.
I'm with that.
Yeah, it's a pretty brutal one.
Okay, what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, I mean, fuck is just that's the perfect one. It's just got everything. Nice one syllable. It's direct to the point.
I don't use it, but it fits a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the last one. What would you want on your tombstone?
Oh, man. On my tombstone. That creeps. Yeah, that stuff freaks me out. I don't know. I'm gonna just like cremate it and have like 10 friends go to Hawaii and just blow whatever money I have left and just have a weekend.
All right, cool. Okay, so this is where we want to go, right? We want to start from high school, right?
Okay.
To probably where you and Luke met.
Uh-huh.
And the different journeys that you all had from the basement to where I met you all at the flea market, hanging out the back of your pickup.
That creepy white van, that murder van we had.
I got 2 of those.
Yeah. So thing.
We just want to go through the motions on how you were able to build your brand. Yeah.
So that delusion is the first, just blind confidence. But so we started just a long time. This was after the collapse of 2008. I was working in real estate.
Okay.
So that would have been like right around the time that I started to have, my idea was Luke had experience in woodworking. I had just found some old like reclaimed wood in the city and was like, oh, let's make some furniture. And then there was another guy that I had found that was advertising that he could help us out or help me out, like making the furniture. And then it turned out Luke was making everything. And then there was a project that he was working on, the Brooklyneer, this bar in Soho, where they were doing everything out of reclaim, Coney Island Boardwalk. And this was before everything was like, reclaimed, cladded and reclaimed.
Before it was cool.
It was just, yeah. And so then Luke was at a good turning point in his life, as was I, because I was like, I got to get out of real estate. I got to get out of, finance stuff. It's just a grind all day. People are losing their minds. And then he had a shop in Bed-Stuy. There was also like a music rehearsal space. There was a chicken coop in the back. It was like probably 700 square feet. It was the most just a legal work stop you could have in the city. And it was under, I remember like most of the same thing. There was a barber shop up on the left, and these guys would just see us like pushing out tables on Saturday morning, like not from a barber shop. We were pushing them out of the hatch, like under the shop, pushing up these 8-foot tables, 9-foot glass mirrors to take out to the flea market on the weekend. And that was, that's probably how you started, was just grinding it out in the beginning, just like,
I was working out of my van in the yard.
Yeah. And underselling stuff, like not realizing you're not making any profit because, you don't realize till like 2 or 3 years in that revenue and profit are two different things. So, you get like a restaurant project and someone's like, we'll give you $15,000. And you're like, yes. And then you realize you spent 20 to do it. And then you're like, oh yeah, those are.
Yes. I was talking to someone about 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned you and I having that situation, that conversation. And
yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, but let's back up though. Let's back up. So you and Luke met through some other guy who was fronting to do the work.
Yeah, and then he ended up fleecing us. Like, that's a good lesson in, like, there's really good people you can pair up with, and then there's really bad people. And he was a financial mess. Like, it turned out I was paying him out of, like, money that I was borrowing to make these furniture pieces. He was supposed to be paying Luke to help on this bar, and then the bar that they were working on had been paying the guy that hadn't been paying any of us, and he had been taking my money. So it took till everyone's, when everyone sits down and they realize the one like guy that's the problem, and they're like, oh, this is the guy that's stealing from everybody. But it was a good out, because then we had no loyalty to them. And then like I was, with Luke, I was just like, again, like delusionally optimistic, and I was like, let's do this, we can, and he was like, all right, like, I think in the first couple of years he was just kind of, he's like, all right, we'll see where this goes. And then we just kept, pushing forward and forward.
Okay, so when you met him, did you all have that space?
He had the space, the wood shop, but it was like a DeWalt chop saw, the lunchbox planer, it was like woodworking starter kit, but then the benefit is we were doing a lot of reclaimed wood at that time too, so if something got dented pulling it out of like a hatch, you're like, oh, it's reclaimed. It's like the aesthetic
it works.
of it. Yeah. It's not like, a pristine piece. So that was good timing too, because it allowed us to evolve out of that, getting better and better with the woodworking, getting better and better at the craft and what we do over the years. And then at the time we couldn't afford a welder, so I took welding classes. I don't know if you remember Third Ward, but that was another debacle where the guy went bankrupt, and just like everyone had a week's notice that he was moving out. And so I was doing the welding out of Third Ward, and Luke was working out of that shop. And then we kind of combined the metal and that went on for, I'd say, a couple years, 2 or 3 years. And then we found the shop on Wither Street through a landlord, like through a dog park or something, just random New York story. Somebody heard he had the shop. And then we were probably like one of the last new wood shops in Williamsburg that'll ever be in Williamsburg, because now it's just, J. Crew in the Apple store, and, like our space sold. Oh, our space sold for $3 million. And he was like, yeah, I'm taking like an all cash buyer if you want to buy it. And I was like, we can't do that. That's not in the budget. But yeah, so that's kind of how we evolved. And then we had that shop where, the idea was we had like a small showroom in the front, and it had space for that. And then we had the wood shop, and then kind of the metal shop on one side, so people could come in and you can see the metal work going on, and then the woodwork going on the other side. And then about it would have been about 3 years ago now, we got priced out of that space, and then we moved the production space up to Rhinebeck, like Red Hook, New York. So that's where everything
is. Go ahead.
oh, sorry, kind of breaking up.
Yeah, you're a little choppy.
Yeah, you're breaking in and out.
All right, I got you now.
All right, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
All
What
right.
was
So
what was the question?
you. So the time that you all went to Withers and Grain, that's when you started to change your brand, right? You get more into the final stuff and less into the reclaim.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we always wanted the reason, like, we went back in time, like, more than the aesthetic of the reclaim wood. The whole goal was to be a sustainable, locally sourced company that tries to work as green as possible without greenwashing the brand. So we didn't, now it's like, we don't advertise that a lot, but we think that's what like companies should do. You know, we get people all the time, and I'm sure you do, the call like once a week. I have a container of like Indonesian hardwood slabs, you know, and come by and they're like cents on the dollar. And, you know, it's like gold. You don't know where that stuff came from. You don't know the origin of it. You don't know, you know, which.
Yeah, I tell them all the time.
Down.
That's not what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that can be, you know, that could be an easier path, you know, right now, but hopefully people respect that we try to get, you know, as much of our material from sources, you know, like you, Urban Hardwoods, as many people within, you know, 300 or 400 miles of the city as possible. And yeah, so that's always been that's kind of been the rooted kind of one thing that we've wanted to stick to as we evolve into finer furniture, is not drift, you know, too far away from that, you know, sustainable, you know, goal of ours. And we try to work as, you know, there's 5 million people in New York. So we, you know, we you know, like you probably ship all over or deliver to a lot of places, but that gets stressful. It's a lot easier when you can work local. If there's an issue, you know, we do that. But, you know, we've shipped, you know, we just sent something to like French Polynesia, and you put it in a container and you're like, all right, go right. Get there through customs.
Yeah. We did something for San Francisco, and they ordered something, and there was something that needed to happen that wasn't on the plan. So I had to fly there and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it was on my own dime.
So they paid for you to fly out to San Francisco to fix it? Oh, yeah.
It was on my own dime. And you know, and this client, I'm never, you know, it's a great client. So whenever they say something,
yeah,
I don't point fingers. I make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to factor in is, you know, you want to get it right. And then it's like one out of, you know, if you have 1 out of 15, 20 things get damaged, like you just have to factor, that's the nature of the beast. And especially when it's like a, you know, if it's a 10-foot, you know, 1,000-pound thing, to ship it back and then come back, it's easier to put yourself on a plane and go there than to have,
fix it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, I think it's a logistics nightmare. This whole business is, you know, from sourcing, shipping, getting in the buildings, like you're spending, you know, most of the day trying to figure out that stuff of like, all right, how is this getting there on time, or how are we shipping? And then, you know, it's Amazon culture, and people don't realize when you have to crate something, the amount of time that goes into creating something, the materials, the packaging, you know, to get it, you know, to that.
Yeah, because when you send it, it has to, the crate has to be almost as good as the furniture.
Yeah.
It has to be structurally sound. It has to be right. It has to be tied down inside. It can't move. I mean,
and then you've bled over this thing, and then this guy shows up, and you just see him throw it, and you just try not to look, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a miracle if it gets there.
Yeah, we send stuff. I take pictures inside the crate. I take pictures of the crate closed. I take pictures of them loading it. Then I send it. This is what it looks like before it left.
It's amazing too. It gets there, and it'll get there in like 5 or 6 days, and it'll go through like 20 companies, and you're like, wait a minute, you were the shipper? Then no, it transferred over to this guy, and then this guy, and then miraculously it just shows up with, you know, usually with no warning. The client's just sitting there, and all of a sudden they have this like huge thing, and the guy's trying to drop it on their doorstep.
Yeah, I've had that when people call, where is it? I said, well, they sent it delivered on the 2nd, and it's not like the 15th.
Or they get mad.
I don't see it.
I had someone get mad because the driver was rude. And I was like, you know, that's not our employee, right? That's a trucker. And I don't know what what you're expecting. He's not known for his like you know, his
He's,
banter and people skills. You know, he's hauling
but
great.
he's not a part of the white glove service.
Yeah, yeah. He's just yeah. So that's always interesting.
So,
But yes,
so what is your and I'm gonna go back there and push you on this. What is your biggest challenge with having a partner in doing this? What is it that Luke excels at, and what is it that you excel at, and where do you all find the harmony and where's the clash?
yeah. So when we were in one space, when we were like at the same space every day, you can bicker a lot, and you can like instead of focusing on like
over the smallest little thing.
Oh, because that's way easier than dealing with like, you know, a tax bill that's due or, you know, some other real thing. You argue about hardware for 2 hours and you just getting dumb arguments. So, you know, I always tell people it's best to draw like a Venn diagram and start making sure that you're staying on your side of that thing and you have as little overlap as possible. And then more importantly, in like what you're good at, just figure out what you're bad at and then figure out how to either the other person pick up those weaknesses or if you have other people that are helping you out, you know, that you can bring on.
Okay, so what is it, what part of the business do you deal with?
So, yeah, so when we split up, we moved from our shop and then we moved the production space north of the city. And so Luke kind of manages that, the day-to-day there. And then we moved a showroom to Richardson Street in Brooklyn. So that's where we have kind of the office and the showroom. And then that's where, you know, we'll meet with clients, a lot of emailing, design work. So a lot of my day-to-day is people sending out for like drawings, needing renderings, getting quotes out, getting, you know, just emails, dealing with Instagram advertising, I mean, that stuff turns into a full-time job. You know, that's what people don't, you know, and then, you know, I mean, you know, Luke's always done the majority on the wood side. And then like I was doing the welding, but you know, it's funny because like my mother-in-law, every time she sees something, she's like, oh, that was beautiful. That day I was like, yeah, that, you know, we have, you know, 6 guys in the shop now and then Luke, you know, so all that stuff. So kind of the formula is, you know, meeting with clients, dealing with the front end, kind of front of the house, back of the house. And then we have a big kind of board that we work on. Like we use Basecamp. That's where all of our projects are listed. And then we usually will have an 8-week lead time. And then it's you know, and then kind of on Luke's end, figuring out how to fit that into the shop schedule and how to get that stuff out and made on time. And I think that both things have their own stresses. And depending on the week, you know, I'll have it worse. And then depending on the week, you know, Luke will have it worse. But I think that we got lucky that we didn't know each other when we went into this that well. We kind of met through the project. And I think that if you have like a best friend or something that you know too much about, it can get a little like way too personal. And with Luke and I, like you kind of have to fake it to each other. You know, you're trying to like early on, you know, I was trying to impress him or kind of like act like we had it way more than we did at that point. Cause you kind of, you know, you fake it till you make it kind of thing. And then you have to and the other good thing about a partner is at any given point, you would have probably quit 3 or 4 times, but you have to fake optimism because you have someone else that's involved. So it kind of, hopefully you kind of pick each other up when you're in those moments of it not, you know, going as well as you want it to, because, you know, it's in this business, it's either you feel like you're king of the world or you're like sitting in the shower with your hands in your knees, like not wanting to get out.
It's, you know, same person talking about this can be a lonely business.
Yeah. And it's very isolating. And I mean, I think that's any entrepreneur, any small business with the financial stress, you know, that's involved in it, you know, and it's like, you know, feeling for all the people that own restaurants right now that are clients, because people don't realize like, it's not that they're making $0 in that month. You know, they have $20,000 in rent. You have the insurance due. You have, you know, the commercial vehicles due. You have all this stuff. So, you know, over the past few months with everything, if it just goes paused, it's, you know, not like you're freelancing and you're just missing out on that check. You have this overhead
let's keep going.
It's like you're playing Pac-Man and you have the ghost chasing you, eating your dots, and that's your money. And you just feel like you're in that constant motion, you know, chasing. And if you put things on pause, you know, it's going to catch up to you pretty quick. which is, I think the big kind of crazy thing with everything that's going on, right now is that.
And even with the small business, like for me, my monthly is way high. And I can't afford, thank God, I can't afford to not work. Because if you don't work, the bills don't go on pause.
Yeah, that's
the bills are constantly stacking up. I'll tell you, I'm about 30 grand a month. So you put that times 3.
You get there really quick if you're really at zero. And
exactly.
then it's, you're probably in the same book where every year you look at your, again, revenue and profit, you look at like what you brought in and you're like, this can't possibly add up because this is what I took home. Like this isn't, there's something is off there, so it's
right. Yeah, it's a lot, man.
And that's it. And then with company, it can be that it's only 15 or 20% is the difference between, you and a partner, yourself paying yourself well, and then actually starting to backslide into debt. It's not that you're, again, it's not like a zero thing. It's like that the profit is very, very slim on the back end. And then, you have all those fixed costs you got to get over to then start, hitting that point. So that's the.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom Jones from Semi Goods, and I'll tell you, we talked for an hour, and he it was funny how he wasn't impressed. He was telling me he wasn't impressed with Sam Maloof until he actually got to know Sam Maloof, and he said Sam Maloof worked for 30, 40 years before he turned a profit.
Yeah, it's
a long time.
Well, now everyone knows him, and people don't realize like a lot of artists like that are people that are digging their heels and doing a very distinct style. He's doing a very slow craft woodworking, and his rocking chairs weren't selling for $30,000 when he was 35. Right. It was probably, and that's it's easy to look back on that and you're like, oh yeah, like but it's such a small category, and it's so hard earned to do that, and you have to be.
And if you think about it, all of these really large companies that generate millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, they pause for 2 months and they're about to shut down.
Yeah, it's the same with that, it's the same
exactly.
with
that. And I'm thinking, wait a second. Everyone in this damn country is week to week.
Well, no, and that's, the bigger companies, that are easy to hate on because they're like these huge corporations, but it's the same thing where you're reinvesting. Everyone's trying to grow. In the past, we've actually been a little more conservative, which I'm kind of, pretty glad we have been in our growth in the way that we've done it. But, a lot of it's hard work kind of surviving through this, but then it's also luck. If we had gotten caught 2 years ago, we probably couldn't write it out. And in 2 years in advance, we might have decided to take out a storefront that was, $15,000 a month, which we, have looked at. And every few days, I'm just like, man, I'm just really glad that we're not on the hook for that base, right? In the heart of the city that we were looking at. So it's, again, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It is. So what's going on now? How's COVID, and what do you see for the future? Where are we moving next?
We surprisingly okay. It's like you look at, you have kind of like a multi-tiered business. We do, a fair amount of, like some hotel work, not as much work now, but you look at those two things like, all right, it's going to be a minute before these start coming back in the way, that we want them in corporate offices. That's for a lot of New Yorkers, bread and butter. Large custom conference tables for companies like ours are great. And you look at those orders might not be for a minute. The interior designers, architects that we've worked with over the years, you build relationships with those people, and that's kind of been what's riding us through this moment. And, you've grown pretty organically, and like we've tried to grow organically as well. And like you said, if something's wrong, go out and fix it. It's very easy to blame game. Like, oh, I don't know. It could have been the electrician that did that. That's your problem now. That doesn't go over very well. So, over the past years, hopefully people pick up on that you care, and you've never left them hanging with their clients. And as long as you make, the whole goal for us when we work with a lot of the interior designers is make sure that they look as good as possible for their clients in the end. They're going to remember you, like
Always, yeah.
Never throw anyone under the bus. Just make sure that it gets done well, that everyone looks good, and that ultimately everyone's happy in the end, but most importantly, the client that they trusted you with,
Exactly.
I mean, that happens with finishes, that happens all the time where you can do a finish, the designer has something in mind, and then the client might have an issue with the color tone, and you want to say, well, that's what you ordered as the designer. That's your problem.
Okay.
Here we are. They have to take it, but
let me tell you a story about that. A New York company, it's a popular company. I'm not gonna say their name. They're a nonprofit. They asked me to donate 2 tables. What's up, Mark? So I donate 2 tables to this company, right?
Yeah.
The designer comes in. The designer, I said, I'll give you 2 tables with these legs. So that's all, and I'm donating it for free. They said, okay. Yeah. So while I'm working on it, I get a phone call. Oh, can our designer come by? And I'm like, yeah. What does your designer need to come by for? We agreed upon what it is. So the designer come by, what happens after that? They want a different leg. They want samples of colors. And I'm like, wait a minute. I agreed to do this for free, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll do it. So we change the legs, my dime. We finish it, they're happy with it. We deliver the table on site. The designer comes in after and sees it and decides the color doesn't go good with the light. So they want me
to just change the finish again. Well, that designer sounds like a joker, because most people would have at least an awareness of what goes into it. Most of them are really good, and then you just hit, you hit that one out of like 10 or 12 that, oh, you got to get the price, and and then you just realize that's what they're doing, and it's not like for that particular client, but everything is this like grind battle where you're just like, all right, we're not going to work well over time because you're just 10% of people take 90% of your time. And that's another thing that you learn doing this.
And I kept telling them, I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this for free.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for free. And then it got to the point where I just stopped answering them. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to go and change that for free.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. And I worked for Four Seasons Hotel for 20 years. And I knew nothing about luxury. Mm-hmm. So whenever a customer will come in and complain, they give them a free room. The room's worth $600-700.
Yeah.
A hotel guest. Whenever someone would complain in the bar for their $25-30 drinks, they take it off the bill.
It kind of just creates an environment where to complain, and you get
Yes, it did. It did. And the team would always say that, is that we create monsters. And what happened was, I learned service from this really high-end hotel company.
Yeah.
I wasn't charging those prices to like they were charging to do that with my clients. And I'm like, wait a minute. They would give stuff for free because they would charge a really high premium for their services.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. So I had to find a way to make it work. So when I'm fixing something with no questions asked, it doesn't hurt me.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, in the 25th hour with a lot of larger projects, the budget's gone. And if it is the right interior designer, you got to take care of them. You got to take care of the project, because it's like, what are you going to invoice for like an extra $500? Something that's going to be this whole to do, or you got to hopefully they remember that, and it doesn't become like a thing where you feel like they're exploiting you, and like, oh, they're trying to do this just as a thing. They wait, and then they start adding on stress on the back end.
Right. Or they won't call you again.
Yeah, after you've really, given it the college try, you're bleeding over it, you're there late, you're doing everything you can, and then they just disappear. Yeah. Yeah, right. But at that point, I mean, most, and you've built up a good reputation, you built up a lot of relationships, and that's probably, the same thing that's
like you are. Yeah.
That,
The relationships are what get you through, and you have to protect those.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to be in 2 years?
In 2 years. So in 2 years, we'll hopefully, like everybody, pivoting, like plan to change a little bit. And, we were thinking of doing a larger store space in the city. And now we're on the Hudson that we're going to try to do kind of what we really had, but more having our showroom in the front and then kind of the production space in the back so people can kind of come in, but again, keep them at bay a little bit where they're not, trying to come back.
And this is in Hudson, New York?
Yeah, in Red Hook. Yeah, somewhere, we're going to start looking around, but somewhere between, Hudson down, kind of the Red Hook, Rhinebeck area.
So that's like it's a 20-mile radius there?
It's a pretty wide range.
So are you looking into buying? Or
yeah, I mean, ideally we'd like to build out, the dream shop space up there and then kind of have a storefront there and then maybe have another space, like a lifestyle store that we curate that's next to it and then try to have kind of like an open door market, kind of thing going. And then, probably keep our showroom in Brooklyn, where we have it. The space we're in is great for client interfacing, but it's not huge, so we're able to like meet, give samples. We have 3 or 4 tables out on display, but it's not, a huge showroom space, which is, New York being New York, it'd be nice to have a larger space, but
look, Mark Jupiter just came on, like Mark Jupiter.
Yeah, I saw Mark. Yeah, like Mark's space. The dream.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when we were talking about the Bills and the stock, he's probably got a story too. Because I'm sure he's pretty big.
Have you had him on yet, or is he?
No, I asked him, did he want to come on tonight? I think he was busy, but he's further a couple of weeks, and I think I'm probably going to try to get him on next week and do it at night.
Yeah.
With the original 20 people, when I contacted you all, I don't think I've still gone through all of the original 20 yet.
Yeah. Well, Mark's been at it for a long time. He looks young, but like I thought he was in his 30s. Then I don't know his exact age, but he's a well preserved man. He's
he's got good genes.
Yeah. As my wife would point out, he's a well preserved man.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
He's made for TV.
Yeah. Look so.
So we're said old as dirt. All right, so Luke, where you at?
Yeah, you want Luke to jump on? He's going to be. I hope the reception goes well because it's a little can be a little hairy there.
All right, so we're gonna wait for Luke to respond. We're gonna hop off, and then Luke is in the shop. Luke is gonna hop on, and then we're gonna do a shop tour. We're gonna talk to Luke. All right.
Oh, there he is.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna end it. I'm gonna save this to the page. It's gonna go YouTube.
Okay.
Then Luke is gonna hop right on.
All right.
So Luke's not sure how. Luke, when you get back on, the same thing you did to get on here. It's gonna ask you, do you want to join me? The same thing, Luke.
There'll be a little tab you can click.
Yeah.
All right, it's good seeing you, man. And
all right, my brother.
Let's chat soon.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna jump off.
All right. This is part 2, Withers and Green. We're gonna meet Luke. What's up, Ben? We're gonna meet Luke in the shop. What's up, Luke? It's gonna ask you to join me. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Yo.
What's up, Uncle Luke?
What's up, dude? Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Great.
okay. A little
How you
loud in
doing?
here. I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us.
Sure.
What's up, Adam? All right, so
Uh,
how you been? How you doing?
all right. I mean, it's insane, but I've been good. Just trying to get not back to normal, but like just trying to keep our head in the game, and just trying to keep going with what's been going in the shop. So, yeah.
So what you moved from Brooklyn to upstate.
Yeah.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
now let me pause you.
Yep.
Right? I've been in New York for 20 years.
Yep.
When I first moved here, my plan was to have a live and work loft upstate where I have my place in Liberty,
Mm-hmm.
have a place here in Westchester, and then
Mm-hmm.
go to work in the city. So I've spent an enormous amount of time in Hudson,
Okay.
Catskill,
Okay.
and Sumner County and Liberty.
Okay.
So for me, I used to go up and it would be like a nice getaway,
Okay. Yep.
but I never could see myself staying there full time. So what's that like?
Oh, I mean, it's the best. I was like, somehow I tricked myself, or I'm not sure what happened, into living in Brooklyn for 16 years. I just, like, I never was going to do it. I was like, I don't want to live there. And everybody I knew moved to Brooklyn. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll go there for a bit. And then there's just so much going on. Like, I was playing music, I was playing in bands. And it's like, if you're going to do that, that's kind of the place to do it. So,
Okay,
yeah.
what instrument did you play?
The drums.
The drums. All right.
Yeah.
Do you still play the drums?
Uh, the last time I played the drums is a toy drum set I bought for my daughter the other day. I'm sitting on a little stool in my living room. But honestly, I haven't played in years because I fucked up my hand somehow, probably holding on to a sander for too many years, and a combination of that and playing drums like a total meathead, it just like I caused some kind of nerve damage that was just making it pretty frustrating to keep going with it. So I'm taking a break that may last forever. We'll see.
Okay.
But,
All right. So when you moved, what part of upstate? Red Hook?
So the shop is in Red. It's funny hearing Adam describe stuff up here. He has no idea where anything is. So he's like, yeah, it's like here, which is next to there. You're like, no, they're not. But the shop is in, yeah. It's like in the city. He just thought everything was Park Slope. So we'd be like, where's the delivery? He's like, Park Slope area. And then you just end up going to like Dumbo or something like that. It'd just be like a totally different neighborhood. But
it's all in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's in Brooklyn, whatever. Find it. So no, our shop is in Red Hook, upstate, and it's the second shop we've been in up here. This one's awesome. It's on like a little, like, not little. It's on like a 200-acre farm and orchard, and so it's one of the farm buildings is what we're in here. So it's like you kind of see where we're at.
Yeah, that's nice.
Some of that stuff. So. Yeah, and then, but I live in Catskill. You were saying you spent some time in Catskill, so that's like about a half an hour from the shop on the other side of the river.
Catskills are you in?
I live in the town of Catskill. I didn't even realize that was an actual town until we moved there. But,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to give you a gem.
Okay.
In the town of Catskill, look up Roberts Porsche.
Okay.
Robert's Porsche is an old buddy of mine. I hadn't talked to him in God knows how long.
Okay.
Tell him you know Robert, the black guy with the Volkswagen that does the wood. He
Yeah.
died probably 10 years ago. And I would be up there looking for barnwood. And I have a trailer with 30-foot beams on there. And I'll pull up into his yard and he'd freak out. But he's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
He's been up there for 40 years now.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And he's the guy. and I'm hoping he's alive. He's the guy where you can knock on his door, right? He has a pool on the side of his house. He'll give you something to eat, and if you smoke, he'll share with you some good weed. No, I don't.
Good man to know.
I don't smoke, right? I don't smoke.
Yeah.
But I know he does. And I know.
I got you.
And I know he's very serious about his weed.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and Catskill's not that big.
The town? No. It's not. It's a little town.
Yeah. So seriously, if you get time, bring your kids.
Yeah.
He has a nice layout. His shop where he restores the cars is right on the property. His house is there. The pool is there. My son and I used to camp overnight in his yard.
Oh, nice.
So you might want to check him out.
All right. Yeah.
He's a good guy. All right. So that's not a bad commute.
It's like 30 minutes. It's fine. Yeah. It's actually, and we're right by the shop is right by Bard College up here. I don't know if you've heard of that. And my wife teaches there sometimes. She teaches dance there. So we're kind of both over here in this area for work stuff, and then back home. But no, I mean it's funny. You spend time driving up here. It's like so peaceful. There's never any traffic. You're just staring at gorgeous mountains and trees and whatever. And you think like it's probably the same amount of time it took me to get home on a subway from Williamsburg to Fort Greene, if not more. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
So yeah, it's just I love I wanted to move up here. I had some friends when I graduated college. They moved up here like straight away. One of them grew up in the area, and just since then I was like, that's where I want to be. It's gorgeous. You could actually have property. You could actually, so we have like a little house that I'm constantly fixing up, but we have like close to 10 acres on it. And it's just like, I see my kids running around the backyard. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I started that, and then when I got into this, I used to tow logs from the city 100 miles away up the Wurtsboro Mountain to my place.
Damn.
Yeah. And I did that for 4 years. It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then I would pull back an empty, noisy, bouncing trail.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So
nice drive.
I burnt out. But what I thought was the most beautiful thing about upstate New York is in the winter, when it snows, on the clear night, the stars will reflect off the ground.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
Well, it depends on how much light pollution there is.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that to me was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. And I've been a few places in the world.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy it up there. The other thing too is, in some places you go, it's like stepping back 20, 30, 40 years.
Dude,
some places
totally.
are backwards.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, some of it's funny, some of it's not funny, but it is odd to see. It's like so anachronistic. You go through these little towns, and like there were like these vacation spots. People would come up to the Catskills, and to get away from the city, kind of thing. Probably back before there was air conditioning or what. I mean, it's just like it's insane. You see these like clustered of like little cabins around some shitty in-ground pool with like a fence around it, and you're like, and that's the vacation spot. But I mean, you get what you can get. It was like probably a nice place to go to the mountains and just relax for a little bit. But some places are just frozen in that time.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah, it was Breezy Hill. There were some guys. I was in Liberty. There were some guys at Breezy Hill, and I would go to the metal recycling place. Not to recycle metal, but to look for stuff.
Yep.
So there's this guy. I don't know. I remember this vivid. There's this guy, short guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, no teeth in his mouth, right? And this guy was talking to me. He wasn't speaking English.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what he's saying. Yeah.
What the hell he was saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So he takes me up to his house.
Okay, brave man. You just go into his house.
That was, you know, yeah, it wasn't. So I get to his house.
Yeah.
It's a dirt floor.
Literally.
A dirt floor.
Damn. Okay.
His brother is outside, half drunk, chopping firewood.
It's the best time to do it. You know, half drunk, you're properly motivated, you're working out your system a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go any further about that stuff, but that was crazy.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So you want to give us a shop tour?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, let's see. How
big is your shop?
It's about 4,000 square feet. So let me start at one end here. Okay. So from over here, we got a little walk around here. This is like our slab wall, but we just got a bunch more. So we're having to spread out to find places to put them all. And the ceilings in here are only 10 feet, which means that a lot of stuff ends up laying down like that and that.
Vertically. Right.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of have to. This is actually for flattening. This is like the table we pull off the melamine on there, and we'll just set up router sleds on there. That's where we do most of our flattening. That's like a 4x12. This kind of more. There's some like sheet goods and then pieces that get just stopped in the middle. We probably have 4 or 5 tables just leaning up against the wall over here that we're sort of like, are we gonna sell these? What are we doing with these? That are hiding back there. But and then we got some guys over here. Yeah. Let's see. I can find my way around here, weaving through the tables.
Now, okay, while you're going, okay, what is he working on?
He's working on what's going to be a set of matched sort of cascading steel and ambrosia maple coffee tables.
Nice.
So yeah, they're cut actually from the same pieces. So the grain, well, not, I don't know if you'll be able to pick up that it's continuous. It depends how they're going to be situated in the room, but at least we know that they're kind of mirrored or continuous. So that's what he's working on there. He's just trimming that, and then he's got to cut himself the bevel. And that. So let's see, over here. This is the nicest piece of gear that we have, probably. That Laguna joiner is wonderful thing. It's like 16 inches wide. It does what it needs to do.
Very nice.
Figure planer behind it. Big cheap dust collection over there. Set of cabinets that's going together. A custom hutch. It's going to go in with a bunch of sliding doors. That's the top half of that glued up. Got the table saw. We got a table that I'm resanding. Of course, it's always nice to finish something and then resand it again. That's good. I like to do that every once in a while.
Right.
It's just like every once in a while something, it just doesn't come out exactly the way you want it, and you're just like, you know what? Let's just do this the right way. So start over there. We got a table for a client here that's like a fumed ambrosia maple table.
Beautiful.
So that guy, yeah, I mean, that's what I thought too. We're having, it's one of those situations before you were talking about where it's like communication between us and the designer and the client. It's like, we'll see. We're gonna get it sorted out. But I think it came out really nicely. So, and then we got our finish room, which we just basically like boxed in a corner here.
That looks good to me.
Yeah, it works. We got an exhaust fan up that runs out up top there. Yep. We got a piece. This is our walnut table that's in the process of getting finished now. Live edge, kind of multiple piece. And then I mean, we got it's a good amount of space, and this this horrific like side lighting that we've got from these fluorescents over here, or they're LEDs, but it makes everything look like sort of terrible in here, but you can see every little flaw. If you spray something and it's not on there, you want that raking light just comes across, lets you know if you mess something up. So we got that set up, and it's a decent amount of room in there. You could get 3, 4, 5 tables depending on size in there at once if you need to. Over here we're starting to stage, as Adam was talking about, like some people want stuff delivered and some people don't right now. So we're just starting to stage pieces that we've got done
Okay,
up
so
here.
let me ask you, right?
Yeah.
I had that with clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was sending them pictures of the finished products, and I'm like, listen, we're done.
Yeah.
Do you mind paying us?
Yes.
Are they holding on to the payment, or are they paying you and you hold it for them?
I mean, I think generally, and you'd have to ask Adam about some of this, I think generally people are being pretty good with saying, okay, a piece is done. We'll figure out a time to schedule, for to get it to us. But I believe they've been pretty good about getting us the back half of the payment once it's done. And we try to shoot every piece, like you were saying, like whether you're creating it or you're delivering it, whatever. We get some nice shots of the pieces when they're done, and then once clients see that, they're pretty good. So here we got the metal shop here. Jacob's over here. He's got like a MIG and a TIG set up there.
Nice.
He's working on the leg sets. He's working on some pretty rad. We have these new barrel, like half barrel legs that he's got it polished out pretty nice actually right now.
Nice.
So he's gonna weld the backside of this, but yeah, and then we get them brass plated, and then he does like a faded, like kind of ombre finish on that, where it goes from blackened to polished over the whole piece. They end up looking really nice, but it started out looking like this, and then you get a box in the backside and one end of it. So, and that's metal storage. That's pretty much the shop end to end. But also the nicest part is that when you walk outside, it's this. You know what I mean?
That is
so
nice.
So it's gorgeous. So I definitely like that over the view of like Adam was saying, that old shop in Bed-Stuy. That wasn't even a shop. It was a basement that flooded all the time.
The last time that I saw you two together,
yeah,
you were going back and forth about a forklift.
About what?
I think one of you needed a forklift, and the other one was like, no,
That. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like, we do need it. Adam was right, but it was like one of those things where it was just kind of like, oh, we need a forklift forever and ever, and we had like these tiny shop spaces where I was like, where are we going to put a forklift?
He wanted it before you needed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would have been good, but like you couldn't even fit the forklift into the shops we used to be working in. So I don't know, but yeah. Now, I mean, that's like part of what he was saying, like building the dream shop, doing that kind of thing. Is you got to have the right gear. It just makes your life.
No,
so much easier.
Adam, he goes, we still need a forklift.
Yeah, I know. The other day when we got all these slabs offloaded, we got actually one of the guys that works for me, his father owns the orchard, the farm that we're on, and he has a forklift. And he came by and pulled the shit off for us, and it took like 2 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Instead of just doing it by hand, which is what we've done literally every other stupid time we've unloaded a truck.
Yeah,
So,
some jobs are not for man.
We've done it so many times, almost like crushing. Like Jacob almost got crushed under slabs falling off tables.
Everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's no joke. So yeah, that definitely is that's in 2 years. I'd like to have a forklift, and we'll see what. I just like to be, back to what we thought we were going to be at before all this shit happened. You know what I mean? So
I'm with you.
Just hope everything else that surrounds it will be able to. Because it's like we were saying, everyone's margins are not that wide. Those margins are thin. And my wife and I and our kids were sitting outside at like a local brewery in Catskill actually the other day. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. But like places that don't have an outdoor seating area like that where you can spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't, it's nice to be like places to reopen again, but you're like, how long are they going to be able to stay open? If they can only do like 30% of the business, that's, it's not going to be enough.
We had, I talked to Dan Kluger from Loring Place, and he said before they shut everything down, he reduced everything and did social distancing.
Mm.
And he's like, Robert, I was only generating 30% of the revenue.
Yeah, that's yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I don't think you could have. I don't think they could just sit there and do nothing. Like have a federal government that sits there and does nothing while 40% of small businesses close their doors forever. Like what's everyone gonna do? You know, like that's not a workable society. So I don't really know what the plan is.
And that's, you know, of the crazy stuff that's going on. Just think how bad people will go crazy when you talk about looting and rioting. When this goes on further, people can't feed their families.
Yeah.
It'll get worse.
I know. It's like you have more guns than people in this country, and you push people. It's not going to be broken windows. Like it's not cool. Nobody wants that shit to happen. So, but I just don't. You know, whatever. Not to wander into it, but like if we had actual leadership, maybe there'd be a plan for something. But it's just like, what are we doing? I don't know. Let's just tweet about some shit. You know, like nobody knows what's going on. So.
Right. Yeah. No one knows what's going on or what direction we're going in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like the horrifying part of it is just looking at all this, you get to the point where it seems obvious they're just going to have to choose between letting a certain number of people get sick and die versus having the economy grind to a total halt. And neither one of those things is really workable. So like, which way do you go? I don't know. It's and that's where it's come, because I'm at the point now to where things have been closed too long. So we have to do something. Yeah. And the real plan would have been to shut everything down for 21 days. Stop everything. Yeah. And here we are, month 3. Yeah. It's like 100 days in New York being shut down or whatever, you know? Yep, and still no real plan. It's just having to do it piecemeal. I mean, distributed systems like can be robust, but like when nobody knows what is happening next door, the state next door, you have governors having to form their own coalitions of like to make plans where New Jersey doesn't fuck up what's going on in New York or Connecticut or where, you know, it's like, yeah, again, there's not really a good solid plan here. You'd like to think this could have gone a lot, you know, a lot in a different direction. Maybe not a great direction, but better direction if you had a plan. But yes, I don't know. Now, you know, it's up to like the people. It's up to the states. It's up to the people. I think you get to that point. People need to be able to make their own decisions. What they're, you know, willing to risk. Are they willing to go to work? Are they willing to go to a restaurant? Are they willing to, you know? It's like at this point, like you say, there's a restaurant, somebody serving me, you know, the table and they're wearing a mask, I'll go sit down 6 feet from somebody else. Like, that's fine. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you get to that point where you gotta pick one way or the other, you know? We're getting to that point. Yeah. But things need to move forward in one way or another. Yeah. And hopefully it can be done with compassion and not just... Yeah. That's compassion is a funny thing to be thinking about right at this moment, you know, when just so many people just can't take this shit anymore, you know, and they're just like, what we want is a little compassion, and what we're getting is just not that from anybody who's in charge of anything, you know. So who knows, man. All right, brother. So I think we're good here. Awesome. I appreciate you all coming on. Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. Good to talk to you. And keep making great stuff. Oh, my wife was just calling me. Sorry. Anyway, yes. Good to talk to you, dude. And take care. Man. Be good. You too.